Hey guys, welcome to video 2 going through the lesson 1 Python code of the self-driving car nanodegree by Udacity. So in lesson 1 part 4, they gave us this code right here, and I got the general idea of what was going on, right? So we're somehow trying to compare the RGB values to this red, green, blue threshold that we created earlier. And so I get the general idea, but as far as the exactly what was going on, I was pretty confused. So first thing I tried is what happens if we just print this, right? So print thresholds, and okay, so that is maybe kind of helpful. So we get a big array of Boolean values, so true, and I'm assuming somewhere in here there's some falses. But so what the heck is going on? So what happens, maybe let's try and get some more info about it. So what happens if we check out the length of it? So print length of thresholds and 540. Okay, well, so that looks familiar, right? We've seen 540 before. We know that, the size of this is 540 and then it's 960 in this direction. So let's check that out again. So let's go back one. So print thresholds. Oh, well, so if we notice right here, this is actually a two-dimensional array, right? So we've got a large array on the outside and then long rows of flat arrays on the inside. So what happens if we try this? Print length thresholds 0. Can we do that? And yep, 960. So thresholds is a 540 by 960 array. So it's gonna match up with this image. So we're gonna have this thresholds is going to be an array that is the exact same size as the image that we gave it. So let's dig in a little bit more and see what's going on. So the first thing, this took me a while to figure out, but it's pretty simple. This right here was not familiar with this symbol. This is actually just splitting the line, right? So this is saying, hey, Python, I'm going to give you one long continuous statement, but I want to break this line up here for simplicity's sake, and I want you to just treat this as one long statement. So you could literally take this right here, Control X, put this right there, and that would be the same thing, right? So you're saying, okay, this long statement right here is hard to read, so instead of having it like that, I want to just be able to put this on a new line, but think of this kind of like an escape character. You're telling Python, ignore the new line that's coming right here, and just treat this as one long statement. So next thing is, what is this all about? Now, we've seen this before. I'm familiar with that, right? That's your OR. But what is this statement? What the heck are we doing right here? Well, so I did some digging, and this is called the Bitwise Or operator. And so if you aren't familiar with that, you can do a Google search. There's some pretty good YouTube videos, and this tutorial is pretty good. I'll go ahead and leave the link to both of those in the description. But this is called the Bitwise Or operator. And so let me show you kind of what that's doing in this whole statement. Okay, so remember that the image that we brought in is really 3 arrays stacked on top of each other. So we have a red array, a blue array, and a green array. And so each pixel is going to have a red value, a blue value, and a green value. And there's going to be 960 of them going this way and 540 going this way. So then in that statement where we're filling in the thresholds array, so if this is our thresholds array, what we're doing is we're going to each pixel, and so if this is a row of our pixels stacked on top of each other, and here I'm going to use the limit of 20 instead of 200 just to make things easier. But so we're going through each pixel and we're saying, okay, so if this is less than 20, or if this is less than 20, or if this is less than 20, and obviously you can move around what those threshold values are. But so we're essentially taking just a column vector like this, and we're saying we're going to have a threshold 20 here, a threshold 20 here, and a threshold 20 here. And so we're saying if this is less than 20, or if this is less than 20, or if this is less than 20, put a true right here. And so then we're going to go to the second one. We're going to say if this is less than 20, or if this is less than 20, or if this is less than 20, again, put a true right there. And then we're going to say again, if this is less than 20, or if this is less than 20, oh, well, that one fails. So we're going to put a false right there. And then if this is less than 20, or if this is less than 20, and we get a false. If this is less than 20, we get a false right there. And so then it'll fill in the whole thresholds array with these true or falses. And that is a bitwise OR operator. So it's going to go bit by bit. It's going to check this one, and this one, this one, this one, this one. And so it's going to go through each time and check if it is, if it meets that criteria of being less than whatever threshold limit we gave it. So again, what we're doing is we are going pixel by pixel through this whole image, and we're telling it, okay, I want you to find all the pixels where the red channel, the green channel, and the blue channel are all greater than the respective thresholds that I gave them right here. And if that's true, I want you to make a true, and if it's false, I want you to make a false. But we're doing it the opposite way around, right? So we're saying if any of them are lower than their respective threshold, if the image is less than the threshold that I gave you, I want you to put a true, and if it's false, I want you to put a false. And so then this should make a little bit more sense, right? So we go through and we print thresholds, and so now this makes sense, right? What we're looking at here is we're seeing a true if any of these is less than the threshold, and there are going to be falses in here only where all three of them are higher than the thresholds that we gave it. So that now makes sense. And so now we can visualize what's happening here is we're saying, okay, so now Python, I want you to take that color select image that I gave you, and for the index thresholds, right? And so it's going to iterate through this whole array, and it's going to take, or through this whole two-dimensional array, remember? And so it's going to take each index there, and if the value is true, it's going to change the pixel values on this color select image. It's going to change the pixel values to 0, 0, and 0. And so that's going to remap the copy of this image that we created. Anywhere that the value is true, it's going to rewrite the pixel values into 0, 0, 0, which in RGB is just pure black. And so then we can show that image so we can kind of visualize it. And so that's going to turn out like that. So this shows us anywhere that it was true, it made it black. And so anywhere that we got a false for here, it's going to leave it the original color, in this case white. So what we're searching for here is we're saying anywhere that these thresholds are, anywhere that the pixels are above these thresholds, leave it the original color. Anywhere that it is below these thresholds, make it black. And so that's what all of these statements together are doing. Okay, so to really get a grasp of this, let's go ahead and play around with the function a little bit. So let's first of all, let's change some of our threshold values, right? So what happens if we only test for blue values, right? So let's see all the blue values that are, let's say, over 100, right? And I put this all into one cell just so we can go ahead and see everything together. So we're doing everything we were doing before, right? So we're making a copy, assigning thresholds, putting those thresholds into a list,